Hi, hello. It is Wednesday night. It is 7 p.m. and I'm Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole. I am so excited to share our Easter Lilies stamp set with you. Tonight might run a little long, and depending on what time my child comes home from her softball game, I might actually have to pause my live and go quickly uncover and lower my oven for some bread I have in the oven. Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm a crafter. Of course, I don't have just one craft. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen over, and I'm going to share with you where this set comes from and what it looks like, all that good stuff. So give me a shout if you are here live. Say hello. This is coming from our mini catalog tonight. It's Easter Lilies in page 26. So this is what the stamp set looks like. It does have dies that go with it, so you can grab some dies. These are some of the sample cards, which are absolutely beautiful. And if you are on my email list, you will be receiving the tutorial for this Easter Lilies card that I created for a swap in a group. So in my Craftastics group that I'm a part of. And I don't know if you can see how dimensional that really is. It doesn't show up when it's flat in a photograph, but when you hold it up just a little bit, it shows a lot of really cool dimension. I played around with that a little bit. I absolutely love when I can be creative and give a little bit of fun to the experience. So I did some watercoloring on here. I also did some stamping. These are die cuts of the petals. I did some paper tearing in the background there, and I used some of our fun DSP back there. So next week, that tutorial will be in the newsletter. So again, this is the stamp set for tonight. Easter Lilies. It is posted, I believe, in the description. If I did things correctly, it is in the description. And we're going to go ahead and get started until I hear that timer for the bread. So we're going to do a really fun strategy tonight. This is a 4-in-1 card technique where you have one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and we're going to decorate like on each horizontal and vertical axis, lines of symmetry, if you will. And we're going to then cut that apart later. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of the stamps that I'm going to use this evening. We're going to start with the darkest, one of the largest elements. There's no rhyme or reason to that. I like to start with the largest so that I can then go back and fill in. But I'm sure there are many ways to do this. And I kind of do like a pinwheel effect. So I started in the center and just kind of went in one direction. And then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to go like this, so that it kind of goes all the way to the edge of the paper here. And now I'm going to go the other direction. It does not have to be perfect. You don't even have to know where your center really is. When we're done, it's still going to give us a really great effect and 4 different card pieces, or layers, I should say. Okay. So now I'm simply going to do that in this cross piece here. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing where I think the center is. And I'm going to go out. And because I'm going to go off my page with this next outer layer, I'm going to do this side first. And this way I can stamp. And then I can clean up my space really quickly here. Okay, So we have this, and I'm going to use this one because I have it ready to go. The glass mat did come with its own little chamois, but I did not get that one nice and wet. I washed the other one, so it has lots and lots of water on it. And this is, again, this is the our chamois cut in half. This is the regular one from the catalog, and I keep it in like a half size box. You can use a DVD case, an old DVD case, unless, you know, unless those DVDs are precious to you at this point, because I know some people will not get rid of their DVDs yet. I get it. But if you have one that's kind of, you know, whatever, damaged, you got some old CD cases laying around, you could put one of your chamois in there. The full size one will actually fit in there. All right. And I'm only cleaning this because it was really juicy. So I needed to get that out of the way. All right. So I'm using gray granite here, and this was old olive. So gray granite for our lilies that we're going to stamp on here. And then we're going to use some Stampin' Blends and color them in. Usually you would use our Memento ink, but I chose to use our Stampin' Blends, and I don't think it took away or distracted at all from the ink. And it didn't bleed or anything. So now I'm simply adding the double lily here. And honestly, I didn't have any rhyme or reason other than to have these pieces on here somewhere that I could color in, add a little bit of color to. You can put these in any direction that you choose. You're really just creating this beautiful backdrop that will be chopped up and turned into panels for your card. You could do extras of this. I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. It's a little bit of a larger piece. Again, there's no specifics. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so you could also take your greenery, you could go around the outside edges, and you could basically frame it out that way as well. Either way is going to work out. So in the end, we end up cutting this, and we have excellent card fronts. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I colored a couple of these. So I used my Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight to color some of these, and I also used the light and dark Granny Apple Green for the stems. So, and I just like to throw things around. So I'm going to use, this is the dark Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to do a little bit to show you. So that's the thick side. And then here is the thinner side. I feel like I have much more control with the thinner, the bullet tip. And I'm just kind of coloring those in there. They don't have to be perfect. I'm going to add the light Granny Apple Green to kind of blend it. And that's just for those stems. Again, just adding a little bit of the light. Just kind of picks up some of the dark color that's on there. And after a while, just looks really nice. Okay, so I do want this yellow, so let me grab this. And I did the thicker side, and I colored up about halfway on each of the flowers. And then I went back and I added a little bit of the dark just to the bottoms and those areas that have like a darker shadow. So that is what I did. Then you would cut this like this, and I'm gonna have the magic of live stream and show you this is what one half of the paper looks like. And then what I end up doing is, so I cut it at the 4 1/4 and the 5 1/2, and then I trim off 1/4 of an inch from each side so that I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. And that gave me this. And you can see on this one, I actually added the little, this little extra stamp here with some yellow on here. So you could add that on your page as well. I am using an old olive card base. And then I just determined if I wanted this to hang, you know, be in a portrait style, or if I want it to be in a landscape. So this is what I ended up doing with the first one. Okay. And I'll probably do the same on this one. So it's just the mirror image. And I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive and put that on the card front. Now, because I have this darker color, I also have a piece for the inside, which is always helpful if you're using dark cardstock to add some kind of piece on the inside for you to write a message, or if you're giving it to somebody for them to write a message. This stamp set comes with 4 different sayings, sentiments. So I did the trust in the Lord with all your heart. We're going to go ahead and do He is risen on this one. And I stuck with 3 simple colors for the evening, which is our lemon lolly, old olive, and this basic gray. I did add in some pink for the blends in one of the other cards, just in case you are looking to collect some. So normally I would have stamped this before I put it on this card, and I certainly was not thinking ahead. So because it is completely flat underneath here, I think I'll be safe. And if I'm not, I would add a layer of white cardstock trimmed down to size. So I'm going to do He is risen. Pull that up, and there you go. And then I did add a few of these new gems. Where did I move my gems? Okay, if you're a crafter, you totally know what has happened just now. I have everything out here. Here they are. They're standing right in front of my face. Okay, so these are called adhesive backed shiny sequins. And they really truly are shiny. So let's grab our take a pick tool, and I'm going to put, I am just fascinated with this yellow color. So I'm going to add a handful of these yellow shiny sequins. Just like that. So in the end, you end up with 4 cards. So here are 2 of them. And I'll probably post the others later this week, because I will use that up and get all 4 of those sentiments on there. Okay. So that is card number 1. Oh, you know what? I should paste this on the inside really quickly here. I have too much on my table today. It's a little messier than normal. I have some samples to show you all when we're done. Okay, so I am definitely digging spring. I hope that this is not a false spring. If you live in the South, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm hoping this is a real spring happening. Woo! All right, so because I decided to use blends today and I wanted to use some vellum, I decided that we're going to go ahead and be really creative, and we're going to do a little bit of alcohol blending. So I want to create, half of this is going to be greens to cut the greenery. The other half is going to be the pinks and yellows so that I can cut a lily out of that. So the way I do this, I'm just going to kind of sort my markers here. I went ahead and just kind of colored on here in a variety of ways. Doesn't have to be fancy. I made sure I had light and dark so that when they mix, they're good. And then I just kind of kept adding so that there was a good amount of ink on here. Okay. And then on this side, I'm going to start with some of the lighter pinks, and then I'm going to add darker ones because these are so pale. I didn't necessarily like the mix of this when it blended on my last one. So we're going to add extra layers of darker colors. Of course, that would be my timer. So I am going to step away from here for just a moment, and I will be right back, literally. Hey Google, stop. Hey Google, off. Okay, Google, 20-minute timer. Okay, 20 minutes, starting now. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. My dogs think I am absolutely crazy because I just ran through the kitchen. And you know, we don't run in the house, Mama. We don't throw balls in the house either. But somehow they still get thrown. Okay, so here are the two different sides. Green is going to be our leaf cut, and the other one is going to end up being our floral cut there. So before we get to that point, we have to do the magic of our alcohol ink, okay? So I have a little dropper that I'm going to put in here. I have, this is 91% alcohol. And I'm just going to add some drops on here. Let these colors kind of marinate together and mingle. And I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm just going to use it on the first setting. We have a 1 and a 2. The 2 is for when you want to emboss with heat embossing. So it's hot enough to melt some plastic. This is just going to be setting number 1. And I'm just going to kind of turn this around and push those colors until they are dry. Now, the cool thing is I can add another layer and continue to do some of this alcohol blending. If I don't like this, I can do some more, which is what I'm going to do on this side because those light colors just wash out so quickly. So I might add a little bit more of the yellow and the dark pink before I'm done. Now, even though the glass mat is not sold right now, I want you to see that I'm not having to really put anything on here to protect this. It is really, really safe for heat embossing. So it's definitely safe for this process. Okay. So you can probably see there's some empty spots and I don't really like that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add some more of this darker color and a little bit more of the darker yellow. And I might actually reach behind me and grab the dark Calypso coral just to make sure I have some extra color on here. And then I'll take a little bit of what I have left. Get a little bit more. All right, so now I can finish that with number 1 here. I can come over and turn this. It looks really cool from both sides, so you could use whichever side you determine fits what you're looking for. I really enjoyed using this side, and I'll close this up because the alcohol evaporates very quickly, just so you know. All right, so now I'm going to use our stamp, and I did not like the black, so we're going to do gray granite because I just need a little subtlety of what this is. So I'm going to stamp that on there. Okay, you can see that. And then I'm going to use my lily on the other side. Again, I'm still using that gray color. I'm actually going to stamp 2 lilies on here. I was able to get 2 out of the last one, and I layered them, and I really liked the color depth that it provided by having the layers. Okay. All right, so there are our flowers on that beautiful blending. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a quick pass through the machine. I do use washi tape. I do try to get some lint from my clothes on it so it doesn't tear up things too much like paper. So lining this up. And then I will line up this other one. Okay. And then I'm simply going to run this through my machine, which is behind me. can take a look and see if we like. All right, so then we have these two pieces ready to go. Set this on the side. Then we're going to take the rest of our parts here, and we're going to use Peace I Give Unto You. And we're going to stamp that on the right-hand side of this layer here. Have that one out. Okay, so now we have some pieces and parts going on here. And then we're going to layer everything together. So set these aside here. This idea came from a sketch that I saw while I was perusing Pinterest, and I thought it would be perfect for these Easter lilies. For those of you who want the measurements on this one, the card base is 5.5 by 8.5. This is our pastel DSP, and the first piece is 3 by 5.25, and then this one is 2.5 by 5.25. And we're just going to kind of offset these, and you can use any circle punch or die cut that you like. And I just have this all the way to the edge. I probably could have moved that over a little bit. I might do that. I don't want it quite as close to the edge. And whew, I love, love, love our Stampin' Seal because you can reposition things if you do it within a certain quick amount of time. So there we go. Moved it over just enough to give it a little added element of the purple and the green there, so it'll be visually seen. So now I'm just putting this flat, and I'm going to add my leaf and my flower. And because it is colored, I'm not too worried about it being see-through or anything, but I do want to make sure it is visible. So and then we're going to take those shiny sequins and we're going to add some to it. Just a little extra. I'm going with this beautiful sparkly green color. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. So that is card number 2. And here you can see the difference. This is the black ink. It's very, very bold. So if you like a very bold color, go with the Stays On ink after you have done the blending with the markers. If you like something a little more subtle, just do the gray ink. It gives just a little touch of that color. Okay. All right, let's move into card number 3. Card number 3 is a card I actually cased from another demonstrator. That means I'm going to copy and share it, or tweak it however and share it. So it's something we do frequently in the crafting world, as it may be. So Melissa Faust was the person that had this absolutely gorgeous card, and hers has blue here, and I changed just the color because I really love this peachy color here, which is our Oh, dark petal pink. It's petal pink. That's the color. And I used an extra set of dies for this card, which come like this. So they have all these little holes. And we used the large rectangle. These are called the Everyday Details dies. Yep. I remembered one thing today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I am going to show you an easy trick. Now, I do have a couple of little holes that didn't pop all the way out yet, so I'll just poke them out with my little tool here. There. And we're going to use our adhesive strips because I want this whole thing raised off. I just need one of these little long strips, and it will go and it'll fit down both of these sides, and I don't have to use a million little dimensionals. It'll lift up this whole card layer without any extra effort. So one little strip goes a long way. We use these sometimes when we make shaker cards as well, so that is definitely something I have been meaning to do again lately, is a shaker card, and I haven't done one. So here's our first layer, and now I'm going to set this aside because the next thing we're going to do is all the images for the front of our card is going to go right here. And I'll be able to run this through with one pass in the big machine. If you're only going to get one machine, get the big one. All right, so here is that beautiful green leaf. Okay. And then again, I'm switching back to the gray for my flowers because we're going to be coloring them in again with those blends. And I actually used all of the lily flowers and the stem. So I just want to space them out far enough so that I can color them. And I'll be able to die cut all of them in one pass. For my family walking in the door, I am live. There's a timer on the bread. All right, so now I'm going to color this in. Again, I'm going to use the green for the stem. And I use the light. Oh, I might have grabbed the dark. Ah, I did. I grabbed the dark. So the dark I really just wanted to have for some of those shadowy parts. So we'll just fill that in with the light. And it'll actually lift some of that color over time. And then I just colored the bottoms of all of these. And I colored a little bit of green at the very inside. Because like I got lost in Google World, taking a look at lilies of all colors and sizes and whatnot. And I just saw so many of them have a little bit of green in the bottoms. So I just thought, all right. I am no artist by any means, but I followed and I loved it. So then I added another layer on top of the green, which is the yellow. And I did the same with all of the other flowers. And I decided to go all the way up on these and halfway up on the larger flowers. And then we're going to run this through the machine. So put that there. And I am just going to put all of the die cuts on, and we'll get to run it through one whole time. And I really like that aspect because if you want elegant or a show-stopping kind of wow piece, you don't want to have to spend hours and hours and hours taking care of that kind of thing. You want to be able to, run everything through, work smarter, not harder, right? So that is the goal for me in all of my life. I am not one of the people who do this very well on a regular basis, but I do try to work smarter, not harder. Again, it is definitely not where I excel. I'm sure some of you are better at this than me. My friend Melissa Winko, who I'm sure you've heard me talk about before, she is really good at working smarter and not harder. So anytime I can copy something of hers that she does, I do it. And maybe one day I can give back. So here's one way to give back. Think about placement, how many elements you want. One pass in the machine. It does take a second to tape them all down, but you got to tape them in place and then send this through. And I have all of those ready to go. I wanted y'all to see this in real time. Unless I create a reel out of it, this is real time. So you can see that it really isn't too bad for one card. And if you're making multiples, again, this is a lot smarter of a way to do it. So there's all our pieces. And now we can put everything together. So this is the card we're creating. Oh, I forgot our piece unto you. So I do need to clean that one off real quickly so that we don't get green on it. So we're going to do a circle, which I might have lost a circle somewhere. So we will cut another circle because I have a circle missing somewhere. So I'm going to grab my smallest punch and a piece of paper here, scrap. Go ahead and punch that out. And now that I've recreated one, I'll find it in a minute. Okay, so there is our sentiment ready to go. So we're going to start with our greenery. And I did use dimensionals, but only on the outer edges of the pieces. Give me 1 second. Can y'all turn off the timer and take the bread out and turn the oven off? Sure. Thank you. My daughter wanted cinnamon and sugar sourdough bread, and she does not eat a lot of sourdough, but that is one of the ones that she likes. And I have not been eating bread, so it didn't get made very quickly because I haven't been creating sourdough. So I took care of it this weekend, made sure I had some good starter ready to go. And I was able to get it ready and out today. So one of the differences you're going to find is that the strips are a little bit taller than the regular dimensionals. So we're going to get a little bit of in and out dimension with this because we're going to sink some pieces in. So if you can kind of sort of see that. So let's go ahead and keep adding. And I did this flower next, and they all just, I put one little dimensional on the backs of them. So and these will stay. They're not going to come out even though I don't have extra glue down there. Going to be fine. And this one, I'm going to put a couple of minis on here. And we'll tuck this one in. And this one kind of comes out this direction. I'm going to squeeze it behind the flower and on top of the greenery here. And then I'm just going to line this piece up under here so that that goes there. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking just need a little adhesive on this leaf here so that it'll stick right here. Okay, and then we will, this is how I did this part. I did 2 layers of dimensionals right here at the edge. So that's 1 layer. And then a second layer right on top of it. And then I put this on here. And that is card number 3. Okay. All right. So the last thing I have for you is a fun 3D treat holder. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like up front here. And then I have the measurements for this one as well. All right, so we have a foundation piece that is 4 1/4 by 11, so that's a half a sheet of paper. I again used our Settles 6x6 Designer Series paper, and I cut a leaf. I stamped and cut the leaf out of the DSP. Okay, so you see that on there. Gives it just a little extra element there. I did just do the plain lemon lolly for the flower. I got all my pieces in here. So we're going to score this. I do have to slide some things over. So we need a 1-inch score. So move your dark, deep blade out of the way because you only want your light scoring blade. Line this up at 1 inch. And then I did 4 1/4 inches. Excuse me. From there, from the initial score line. What did I do? Yeah, 4 1/4 and then 5 1/4. And then I did a 1-inch piece here, which would be 5 1/4. All right, so that gives me a 1-inch face at the bottom. And then it also gives me, I might have done that backwards. Oh, lordy, lordy. So let's see, I should have done the 4 1/4 from this side. I always like to do that, turn things around. So 4 1/4, 5 1/4, and then 1 inch from the end. So this will not be a big deal in the end. So I'm going to fold this over and show you that this is going to tuck under here. And depending on how wide your piece is where you are going to want to score this. So my score marks should have been 4 1/4, 5 1/4, and 10. But I'm going to leave that actually. We'll see if that'll fit that way. And then front here, you're going to use your DSP and you're going to do a 4x4. And we're going to go ahead and adhere this with our adhesive on all 4 sides. We are not adhering anything in the middle because we're going to cut that circle out. And I'm just giving this a similar border all the way around. Okay. And then I'm going to take my circle punch from the Everyday Details. And I'm using this one, if you can see. So it's going to cut in the middle and it's going to give me the holes on the outside. And then I'm going to get a little bit of an inside piece with these. So I have those for a little project later. I'm going to center this and use one of those pieces of DSP, washi tape. Lost my words for a second there. And I'm going to run that through the machine. And it's going to cut out both circles at the same time. And it will be even, and you don't have to line anything up. So this is what that looks like. Okay. And then we have this, and I'm carefully pulling this off. There we go. And then I'm going to attempt to get some of those out, but it looks like I'm going to need to poke them out. And we do have extra little tools that you can use for this, but this works pretty quickly if you're doing one at a time. If you are doing multiples, you definitely want to get the brush attachment for the Take a Pick tool. It comes with a little bit of a foam mat, and you just kind of roll it across the back side of your die cut piece. Again, this was going to be pretty quick and I don't have to pull it out, so not too worried about it. And then confetti, confetti, confetti. If you are a crafter, you probably have glitter or paper, or if you're a stamper, you've got the backs of our dimensionals everywhere. Okay, so here we have this. Now, on the one that I did, I stapled this first because I was doing that matchbook technique, but my box was a tiny bit wider than the 1 inch that I gave it allowance for. So if I do that here, I can actually score this in between here. So that it's a little bit over 1 inch. And then just use a little bit of adhesive. So what I did was I put some adhesive on the front of this part here. And I stuck my bunnies in so that it's going to stand. And then I just pressed this down. So now this is stuck right here, and I can fold the rest over and I can staple this however I want, or I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit of adhesive for this since I made it a little shorter. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on this side here, right near the end. Fold this over, stand it up, and then just pinch it shut. Okay, so it stands all by itself. It's a little wonky because I have extra seams in there, but this one did better. So then you're going to take a 3/4 inch piece of that DSP and then a 1/2 inch or so of this. And then here is that leaf I already cut out. and our flower that's already cut out. So this piece is going to simply line up right on that 1-inch flap with a little bit of the yellow border all the way around it. Just like this. Now, I did not have Happy Easter. I could have used God is Good or He is Risen, but I do have a paper pumpkin that I have not yet created with. So this month's paper pumpkin is an Easter, and it has the cutest little stamps in it. So I decided to go ahead and use the Happy Easter for this project. I did stamp it to one side. And kept with our same color scheme. And man, see, this is what happens. You get messy when you stamp. I haven't done that too badly in a while, but I'll tell you, sometimes I slip and I am wearing the ink. All right, so Happy Easter. It's going to go on this little piece right here. I did do it to the side because I wanted to add those shiny sequins to this piece as well. And then I'm going to add these elements onto the edge here. The Happy Easter goes up top. I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Again, just kind of giving it a little bit of border around each edge. And then I'm going to put 3 of my fun green shiny sequins on there. Okay, 3 of those. And I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here, and I just kind of hugged the circle here. And then put this on here, and I like the bunny, so I'm going to move it to the edge here. Okay, so there is your super simple 3D project if you measure correctly. Now, if you measure, let's just go ahead and we're going to do this really quickly so you can see, so you don't get messed up like I did. So I'm going to grab another whole piece of paper here. I need 4 1/4 by 11. So let's make sure this is, okay, 4 1/4 by 11. Okay. So we're going to start and we're going to do just the scoring. So we're going to do 4 1/4 here along the 11-inch side. Okay, so 4 1/4. You can do 5 1/4, or you can go a little bit bigger if you need to. So I'm going to do 5 1/2 on this one because I have one more little treat that I want to see. And then I'm going to scoot this all the way over and score at the 10-inch mark, or 1 inch from the other end. Okay. So here is a more perfect piece for you to see. So 4 1/4, I did 5 1/2, 10. Okay. Again, this would fold over. These are going to fold up. And that is what it ends up looking like. So I'm going to try one of these in a minute and see, because I think that that will work just peachy. So there you have it. A fun treat holder. All right, if you are still here, I'm going to share a couple of fun online exclusives that I have created for my group in Florida. These will be displayed at their Sunshine demo event. Louisiana, let's get to it. We have lots of demos here, so we should also get a group together. All right, so I'm gonna flip back because I want you to see these. They're so gorgeous. I don't know why I took the camera off of this boring paper. All right, so here we have this fun zinnia paper that is the center, and I just fussy cut this. I just got the stamp set today, but I have the paper, so I went ahead and created with the paper. This is the zinnia embossing folder, and then I used the brayer after a demonstration by one of our team members, Kat McDonald, and I decided I was going to go ahead and emboss the raised element here. And this is the Happy Little Things stamp set. You can only get these online. So if you are just a catalog shopper, they won't be in the catalog. But if you go to my website, you'll be able to find these. Again, zinnia paper, but this sentiment is one of my most favoriteest. You've probably seen it already. It's the Go-To Greetings. It's got all these different little scripts and different sizes. So I love that one. So this is also from that one and the zinnia paper. And this is using Blackberry Bliss. I just love it. It almost looks black on the camera, but it is actually a purple color. Try to see if I can. It doesn't matter where the light is. It just looks black. And then this is a fun one. I just wanted to throw some pink and green together. I have a good friend whose daughter has a quilt that I made for her that has a lot of pinks and oranges and greens, and this reminds me of her. So I'll be sending this to her at some point in the near future, just because it reminds me of the quilt that I made for her. And of course, her. She makes me smile when I think about her. So that is it for the night. I'm trying to think. I've got classes to sign up for. If you're interested in learning how to do any of these techniques, let me know. If you're not already on my email list, you can go to my website and get on that, or drop a note in the comments, and I will send you the link to sign up so that you can be in the know for future classes and projects. And that is it. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And that's it. Smile. It's spring, whether it's fake spring or real spring, we don't know, but enjoy it while it's here, right? Have a great night. Bye, everybody.